Well, hello, 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 and welcome, my Leo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your twin flame reading for January, February, timeless 2020. Whenever it is you're supposed to see it, I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and Leo rising. So even though I don't think I'm in any twin flame contracts at the moment, you never know. Right? So very, very honored to be doing this work for you, my Leonine brothers and sisters. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, making my way to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer every day so that I can monetize, so that I can do some super live chat a couple of times a week. And I have made a promise to my subscribers that once I get a couple over 1,000, I'm a Virgo, I like a little wiggle room, then I will do a little ditty called Drunk Tarot once a month for the first couple of months, and there is a link in the description box below of a video I did last year, my favorite video of 2019, called Clarifying Drunk Tarot, explaining exactly what that little ditty is all about. So please do watch it, and I think you'll want to like and subscribe once you hear about it. Cool, cool. That being said, let's get down to the business at literally hand. This is a general read. Let's always keep that in mind, that if you're watching any readings on YouTube or elsewhere, they're general reads. They're not reading you personally. That's a personal read. So please take what resonates, right? The best you can do is take what these readers are offering in terms of themes as they scan the quantum field for zodiacal correspondences, or if they're doing divine masculine, divine feminine, or whatever they're doing. Keep in mind, it's to give you clues along the path. No reading's ever going to tell you exactly what happens. That does not exist. There's no oracle deck in the world that can do that, right? Because the quantum field is ever shifting, ever changing according to the divine plan. And the divine plan is all about your soul evolving and being the best that it can be in this life, doing what it came in to do. Cool, cool. Personality doesn't always get what it wants, but the soul always gets what it needs. Cool, cool. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and why I try and keep them entertaining throughout, so that you can watch them, so that you can get pieces of information. I myself am also a Pisces moon, so I find when I, on occasion, watch a video on YouTube, I tend to lean more towards the Piscean ones that include Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, all that stuff. Cool, cool. So please do check out your other signs, because this twin flame reading is a little bit different than what you might be used to if you are new to my channel. A twin flame relationship is a soul contract, right? Twin flames and soulmates are two different varieties of soul contract agreements that you make before coming into this life, that we are chosen by a higher power. Our souls are chosen to play these roles, and we look at the contracts beforehand. I'm sure we don't remember doing it, but sometimes we do. So that's what these readings are. They're scanning the contracts. But a twin flame read, a twin flame contract at its core is you teach each other how to heal. You teach each other how to love yourselves. You teach each other how to set boundaries. You teach each other self-esteem. You teach each other, you get the idea. How you do that is usually, not by example, how you do that is by not giving each other what it is that you each other want from each other, rather delivering spiritually by contract what you each need to each other, which is usually a jagged little pill. Thank you, Alanis Morissette, for that little phrase right there. Cool. Well, not cool. It kind of sucks. And in the beginning of a relationship, it's hard to tell if it's twin flame or soulmate. Soulmate's totally different form of contract. A soulmate, you help each other heal. It's soothing. It's satisfying. Oh, and by the way, the myth that you only have one of each, right? You have one soulmate, you have one twin flame. Caca. Not true. My father was a twin flame contract. My mother still is to this day a soulmate contract with me. We've always helped each other heal one way, shape, or form. So keep in mind, this contract that we're going to look may or may not be romantic, sexual, but it will be the most dominant, most important twin flame transformative contract for whoever is watching, hopefully, so that you can learn what you need to learn, because we need lots of twin flames in our lives to teach ourselves how to be the mate of our own soul, how to love ourselves, respect ourselves, support ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, so that when the soulmate partner does arrive, you're ready for them. So think of the twin flames as the boot camp. A militaristic metaphor for sure, but to bring then what? The paradise, the healing journey. I don't know how paradisical it is, the soulmate, because there are always bumps in the roads in relationship, but in soulmates you tend to work it out, right? So I think that clarifies that a bit, except to say that we're going to be using divine feminine and divine masculine as a way of differentiating between two different parties in a contract. I was raised in a very litigious environment, let's just say that, so I'm familiar with contract, not contract law, but I understand how they work. Always read the fine print, particularly with a twin flame. Read the fine print. Oh, they can't give me what I really want, only I can give myself that kind of love. Got it, right? And then you do, hopefully. But the divine feminine, divine masculine part of it is not about bodily gender. I myself consider myself a divine feminine. Come on, I'm a gay male, purple, long-haired witch from Long Island. Pisces moon, Virgo sun. But we're all fluid in that, right? Put me in certain situations, I'm divine masculine. So go with what resonates. However, in a twin flame contract, because it's twin, you might find yourself resonating on both sides of the table, so to speak. Take all the information. Take what resonates. That's all I got to say on that. Cool, cool. We're going to end, though, with this little piece of my not just my counsel, but my request. Please breathe. Please remember, be conscious of your breathing as we go. Now, if you're returning to these readings, I've been saying this for months now, then you're used to this. But it's just not just good spiritual practice. I mean, it is. It's a cheap spiritual practice. You have to breathe anyway. But when you are aware of the conscious breath, when you are in the present moment, right? You can't focus on your breath and be anywhere other than in the here and now. You are in the same space where the divine dwells. God, Goddess, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, the angels, whatever you want to call them, the masters, are always in the here and now. They're always in the present moment. So as I take a little breath break looking for the still point within, that's my touchstone. That's where I go, and I tune to the gods, and then translate whatever they give me into words and through the cards, obviously. So if you're doing the same, then you're tuning to the same frequency of the now, which has all the same information of the reading, right? So it's just a better way to navigate through any reading where you're not directly participating, like sitting across from somebody. You got it? So take that with you. It's just wise. Trust me. I know I've been doing this since I'm 12. I'm 52. So let's take a nice deep breath and get down to work with this twin flame contract. Nice deep breath. Exhaling first. Still point. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 2 Caroline Myss archetype cards. One for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for January, February. Timeless, though 2020, whenever they're supposed to watch it, whenever they catch it, that it be truly helpful for them. Please, one for the divine feminine in this Leo contract, and one for the divine masculine in this Leo contract. By the way, all the decks that I read are in the description box below, all the way at the bottom, because there's some cool shit I'd like you to look at on the way down. I always chock full my description boxes with cool links of stuff I've done. Not to mention there's a brilliant video from Matt KAHN. We'll be using his healing mantra deck later on the reading, last card down actually. One he did called Soul Contracts Redefining. Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. Go check it out. Brilliant work. So archetypes. These are the 2 dominant soul powers, right? The patterns in the collective unconscious, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Both of them have lead, both of them have gold, because they are neutral. The purpose then of a twin flame contract, relationship, call it what you want, is that you're going to learn how to heal whatever is in your lead, your shadow, into light as the result of you learning how to love yourself, heal yourself, etc., in this contract. Cool? So let's have a look. Who are we dealing with here? weird. They've all been hidden this way, ones that make a certain sense. We've got the Divine Feminine Beggar. Don't freak out if you're the Divine Feminine. The Beggar has played a role throughout the evolution of humanity as well as spirituality. Many a master has appeared as a beggar. For the Divine Masculine, the Judge. So can't you imagine someone begging a judge for mercy? Interesting. We're going to read the Divine Feminine first, and these are only the first 2 cards down. We've got 14 cards in total hitting the table today. So let's start with the shadow, the lead for this Leo collective, the Divine Feminine. Now, the Leo could be on either side or both, right? The shadow attribute, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. And that's why it doesn't have to do about not having money, right? It's about the exclusion of effort, right? Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort, not necessarily to the exclusion of money. There are people who can beg for attention. So there's begging in all sorts of ways, shapes, and forms. But let's tune now to the gold here, which is what the Divine Feminine would be shooting for. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. So there's about confronting how to empower yourself in order to survive. It's very twin flame right there. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem, right? So I don't get the feeling that there's somebody literally on the street begging for food, begging for money here, as much as it is perhaps more an emotional or a desire, water or fire based begging. Because, oh my God, we're not taught how to ask for what we want in this world, right? We can pray, we can ask, we can beg, but it takes what? Humility, compassion, and self-esteem in order to stand up and even ask sometimes for what we want. You following me? It's like, no, I have the humility to say, no, I can't get this for myself right now. I can't do this for myself right now. Would you please help me out of the compassion of your heart? Because I am worth it, right? Self-esteem you can't get from anybody else. It's self-esteem. So tricky archetype, granted. Wild family archetype, absolutely. But there is something very sacred about the beggar. I mean, you just look through sacred scripts, right? I was going to say the Bible in particular, but scriptures, sacred scriptures of all different varieties. There are beggars peppered throughout. So let's look at the judge, right? Very interesting, a judge and a beggar. Now, the judge archetype, before I even read it, is not just about being judgmental. Any archetype can be judgmental in its shadow, right? So when we look at this, keep in mind that this need not be a literal judging situation, right? Because it is, by the way, the wisdom family, right? So we've got the wild card family and the wisdom family, because you want a wise judge. But the shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, right? Like a critic that just has it out for the artist or whoever. Misusing business, legal, or criminal authority, right? So misusing your authority in an just way, right? The judge must be just. The light attribute, what the Divine Masculine is shooting for here. Remember, I'm going to say her and him, she and he, but it's not bodily gender. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair. Light attribute, balancing justice and compassion. Now, there you go. If you even study the Kabbalah, even cursory, right, you'll see the 3 pillars, severity and mercy, right? The card of the High Priestess, there's a lot of tarot throughout all of that. But to be the center pillar, right? To be the balance of justice and companionship, or as it's usually said, mercy and severity. Managing the fair distribution of power, right? So the light part of this Divine Masculine judge may very much want to keep this fair and balanced, but sometimes when somebody is really struggling with their physical security, which, hey, we all do from time to time. By the way, just because you have an archetype in a relationship doesn't mean it's for a lifetime. Yes, there are relationships that can manifest themselves what's called chronos, which is throughout all time, a lifetime. But archetypes are pretty much a reason, a season, or a lifetime in my experience, right? So the beggar and the judge, very, very interesting, powerful, and I have to say, here, let me use this word, mythologic feeling to it. Like there's mythology there are stories about a beggar and a judge. Just feels like throughout the timelines. So what we're going to do is we're going to clarify this twin flame contract using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Half the deck will get one card from the problem suit to sort of look at, like, what's the icky, what's the sticky, what's going on here, what's the problem in this twin flame contract, at least for the time period, January/February or timeless, right? This deck we're going to pull one card from as the piece of luck, the piece of healing, or the piece of grace. That's the three other suits in the deck to, like, help, whether you are the divine masculine or the divine feminine, heal this for yourself somehow. Cool, cool? I'm going to start with the lead, the problem. Nice deep breath, please. To the Ascended Masters, please. Oh, here we go. Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity. What's the problem here for this Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract? What's going on here? January 2020, February 2020, timeless. We've got the Beggar, Divine Feminine Beggar, and the Divine Masculine Judge. Please, what is the problem? We're doing that face down. And what is the piece of luck, healing, or grace, my masters, for this twin flame contract, January, February 2020, or timeless? What is the piece of luck, healing, or grace? Here we go. Popped right in my hand. Let's see. What's the problem? Disillusionment. And the piece of luck is naughtiness. Naughty. Now, I really like the naughty card because I'm one of the fun readers on YouTube. I like that word, naughty. I hated it as a kid. Now I kind of love it as an adult because it's not evil, right? Even the suit is the luck. So if you're lucky enough to be naughty. But let me start with this card of disillusionment. Obviously, it's things not appearing as you thought they were, seeing things clearly in the light of day. I can absolutely feel that tension in the world in general. We're all going through a lot of disillusionment, but to be honest, the only other option is to stay illusioned, which isn't a great option at all. It's better to know truth. So truth must have somehow been introduced here. And this feels like it's always going to be both sides, whether one is doing the illusioning and the other the disillusioning or not. There is something naughty here. Now, I am going to say that for this beggar, it feels like this disillusionment, like they really had a plan. Like they really thought it was going to go a certain way. And I don't mean just in this relationship. I feel like this is a theme for them a little bit, where they do their best. They have their vision. They have this thing that they're going to do. But then they get disillusioned that they were perhaps sold a false piece of information. And sometimes a false piece of information that everybody's got, but it hits them, in particularly this divine feminine, a little bit harder than the others. So definitely there's a problem of disillusionment. Well, and can a judge be disillusioned? Well, a judge can deliver a verdict that is disillusioning to those who think it should be otherwise, right? But with this card of naughtiness, I'm really not getting that shadow side naughty here. But it does indicate, because as I said earlier, twin flame soulmates, they're not always all romantic sexual, right? They can be family members, people you work with, boss, coworker, employee, friends, not so friends, right? Neighbors, all sorts of combos there. With that card of naughtiness tends to be one, particularly the vibe on that card, that can indicate something a little sneaky, but a little fun, right? Not necessarily evil, not necessarily, harmful, but that thing is sort of like, let's just get away with this, like sneaking out of work a little bit early when you already put in your hours or whatever. Obviously, the judge is going to have some ethical issues with that. But that can indicate either romantic, sexual, or like friends. It's like, come on, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's ditch. Bring it, Brenda. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue to clarify, because they have to heal themselves in the contract either this month, next month, or eventually. That's what the contract is for. So what are the angels offering in terms of healing with the angels, right? That's the name of the oracle deck. That's what we're looking for, healing with the angels. So nice deep breath. Still point. My angels, please. 2 cards, one for the divine feminine, beggar archetype, one for the divine masculine, judge archetype. In this Leo collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for January, February 2020, though timeless. Please, one for the divine feminine. What is the angels? What are the angels offering her in terms of healing? And for the divine masculine, what are the angels offering him in this twin flame contract? She's got serenity, he's got balance. Good. Particularly you've got scales there. That's interesting. But serenity. Okay, so if you are the divine feminine beggar watching this, just keep in mind that what you're going through is not directly as a result of something you have done wrong, right? The serenity prayer, I'm just going to start there with this one. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, stick a pin in that one, and the wisdom to know the difference. That there are some pieces of this that are just beyond your control, particularly with disillusionment. You probably did give your best. You probably did really summon up the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and or self-esteem, like all of them, part of them, whatever, to move forward. But the thing with the card of serenity is that there is a divine plan always in place, and though it may suck that you would have to beg for anything, and I wish no one ever had to beg for anything, food, clothing, shelter, money, love, affection, attention. I wish that we were in that world, right? That feels way more fifth dimensional earth and above. That feels like a heaven on earth thing where no one would ever have to beg because everybody would have that within themselves, because everybody does have that within themselves. Maybe not the food, the clothing, the shelter, but you know what I mean, the more emotional stuff. So ride this out, not just this contract, do what you got to do, but we all go through the begging phase sooner or later. Just remember, those people with more money than they'll ever know what to do with, what happens when their health fails? Like, what happens when they're on death's door, right, or on their deathbed, right? We all beg sooner or later because all of us have to be brought to our knees sooner or later, and this doesn't feel like in the fun way. Just saying. So the serenity card there, I mean, you, like I said, there's something scripturally sacred about the beggar archetype and feeling it very much on this card. And this card has come up in readings before, but never quite with this kind of glow around it. So keep to your prayer, keep to your practice. You don't have to beg the gods. You can beg the divine, but if anything, just go to them and ask them, what do I need? Right? That's why I do the what do I need readings. New to full and full to moon, new to full and full to new moons during the month. Interesting. For the judge here, though, we've got balance, and I think that sort of speaks for itself. I mean, there's scales. There are the scales of justice in the archetype card. So I think we kind of get that for the divine masculine, you better have your ethics in place, dude. Because if you're the one doing the disillusioning, are you doing it with compassion? Right? And if you're the one doing the illusioning, that means you got a thumb on one side of the scale and something's out of balance. And again, the way that quantum themes play out, it could very easily be half y'all, it's the judge doing the disillusioning, and half y'all, it's the beggar, right? It's just how it plays out. You got to feel that for yourself. But with serenity and balance, there is definitely, this is a totally divine plan, scripted lesson for both y'all. I can feel that in my water. Coffee. I can feel it in my coffee. So what we're going to do, to clarify, 3 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to represent the voice of the goddess, the divine feminine, half the energy of the universe, past, present, future, simple timeline for the divine feminine. And we're going to use the mythic tarot, voice of the god, the gods, the masculine energy, the other half of the universal energy, past, present, future, simple timeline for the divine masculine. Cool, cool. Just to kind of give you a little GPS timeline, where you've been, where you are, where you're headed. And remember that where you're headed you can change usually, unless you just can't. Okay? Nice deep breath. Let's ask the goddesses what's going on. Still point. My goddesses, please. Oh, I feel that maternal love. Mother love. Ooh, my goddesses, please. 3 cards. Past, present, future. Simple timeline for this divine feminine beggar in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for January, February 2020. Though timeless, please. Where has she been in this twin flame contract past? Where is she now in this twin flame contract present? Where is she headed in this twin flame contract future? This came out pretty quick. Let's do the same for the divine masculine, then I'll read them left to right. Nice deep breath. Still point. My gods, please. 3 cards, past, present, future. Simple timeline for this divine masculine judge in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for January, February 2020. Though timeless, please. 1 card. Where has he been in this contract? There we go. And where is he now? Where is he now in this contract? The present. And where is he headed in this contract future? Good. We got them on the table, just aligning them a little bit. I do like some symmetry where I can get it, which is hard to do with both round and rectangular cards. But a Virgo got to do what a Virgo got to do. Where has she been, our divine feminine beggar? Well, we've got a court card. Now, it's the Aquarian court card, Ixchel, the eagle woman, she who flies highest, because the eagle flies highest, which mythologically is true. Technically, I've heard that it's the albatross that flies the highest. It can handle the altitudes more than the eagle, but that's just not as poetic. Nobody wants the albatross eye view. You want the eagle eye view, right? So, you know, poetry being as it is. Notice that she is flying with scissors in her hands, right? It's very Aquarian. Not just pulling back, pulling up, going stratospheric, fixed air, right? Like the stratosphere, the frozen air of our atmosphere. And looking down and seeing. And that's what I feel like. Perhaps she really did have this larger vision, this divine feminine beggar archetype, that things were gonna work out, right? Very humanitarian, very friendly. That's why, like, this is not necessarily a romantic sexual. If it is, if you're watching. But Aquarians are known for being that friendly egalitarian. Oh, with the eagle, I never even realized that. Holy crap, thank you, my goddesses. But even more than that, that humanitarian, that friendly, right? Oh, like that song, The Age of Aquarius, right? Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust about, which is actually more Piscean energy, but don't get me started on esoteric astrology. But you kind of get the feeling of that, though, right? You know, and so perhaps this divine feminine really is coming from a place of being more friendly, more giving of herself than receiving, which divine feminines can fall into exceedingly easy. I know. Where is she now in this contract? The Empress. Major Arcana card. Mawu. Really, the divine mother of Earth. Truly an Empress card. Giving birth to a baby, literally delivering, on the back of an elephant. I mean, that's about as Earth Mother as you get. So interesting, a card of such fertility and fecundity. Right? Such abundance, yet a beggar, which kind of leads me to think that this is not the physical kind of begging, right? This feels like this, that perhaps she is a mother, if not a literal mother. Again, does not have to be female, but that creative process of the divine feminine, of conceiving, gestating, laboring, and giving birth to something. The language of pregnancy is the same language as creativity, with some variations here and there. So, since the Empress is the amalgamation, the combining together of all of the queens in the tarot and the court cards, then really this is the spirit queen, the empress. So there is something very divine feminine here. Divine masculine judge here, treat her well. Like, even if you don't agree, even if you can't give each other what you want, absolutely help her with what she needs, because what she has to give in return, again, are those spiritual gifts, the authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. And I've said this in the past couple of readings, and I have to remember this. You can be married to somebody. You can be a family member with somebody that you have a twin flame contract with. It doesn't mean that you don't love each other and care about each other. It just means that's not the purpose of the relationship. The relationship is to teach you how to love yourself. Do you get it? And so there's so much love here. Divine feminine beggar. It's all within you, and I know, stitch it on a pillow, throw it on the couch, grandma. Oh, everything you need is within you. Not very helpful if you're in that place of emotional pain and begging for something. Where is she headed? Now remember, this is mutable. You could change this. It's like GPS. You could say, no, last second, I don't want to go there. Yui, pull a Yui. This card has now come up, what is this, the third or fourth time in this series. The card of manipulation. Now, again, the word is neutral. This card has no reverse. See, it's pinwheely. It's 6 double-headed axis. And that's the Libris, Libris, or the Sagaris. I can't remember the mythological names or the cultural names of the double-headed axe, but they're like crescent moons. It's definitely a divine feminine kind of thing. So element of air, if you think of the Six of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot, it's the dude in the gondola with the woman and we think it's a woman, and the kid, right, all kind of hunched over, going from turbulent water to smooth water. This can be about the healing of the mind, the balancing of the mind. Sixes are always about harmony and balance one way or another. So psychology, therapy, counseling, communication, talking, manipulating the mind, that can involve prayer, meditation, reading. The word manipulation is neutral, right? Oh, I wish I had a lighter on the table. I don't. Element of fire, right? It's like, this is an old witch class thing we used to do. We used to take a lighter and go pop quiz, good or evil. People would say good. I said, well, I could torch the house with it. They're like, well, evil. I'm like, yeah, but I could light a candle for you and pray. It's neutral. So manipulation, right? You have a headache. You take an aspirin, you manipulated yourself, right? The wildfires anywhere in the world. Australia was the last big one that I spent a day in prayer to make it rain there. Prayer, right? Like there, I called down rain. It's manipulation, right? So this has to do more usually with manipulation of the self. Now, of course, with this card of disillusionment as the problem here, of course it's going to take a little time to recover, but maybe that's part of the recovering of your truth, right? Because you thought it was one thing, perhaps, discovered it wasn't, and then have to re-find your truth. Disillusionment is really, really hard because it makes you question everything you've believed, right? It just happened to me last year. Someone I really, truly, truly, truly loved and just was hiding things. And when they started to come up, because that's how the gods play it, they're like, okay, now it's time for you to know this. It made me question everything I believed. But healing, little by little, prayer, meditation, talking with people, educating myself, going deeper, I really am able to see that everything happened for me to grow and become who I was chosen to be in this life. This soul was chosen to be a certain way in this life, and all of it served me. So it's a very different spin on it, and believe me, that's not positive thinking. That's being reduced to ash and rubble and seeing clearly, right? It's an intense situation, I get it. But so we got her, let's look at him. Because honestly, the judge archetype with the card of balance, I think that's like so fucking on the nose. So where has he been in this twin flame contract, right? Judges and contracts, very interesting. Second time this one has come up in this position, the Lover's card. So what was the last one I just did? Was the Cancerian read. Also, Divine Masculine had the card of the Lovers in the where has he been position. So, if you got any Leo Cancerian stuff going on, you probably just went, oh, fuck, right? The Lovers card. about a life-changing decision. Now, did that life-changing decision take a balance? Did it take a looking at both sides, a weighing of it back and forth? Usually does. In this card, we're looking at the judgment of Paris, not the city, the Greek hero, right? Eris, goddess of discord, was not invited to the wedding of Cadmus and Harmonia, Harmonia being the daughter of Ares and Aphrodite. Oh, up on Olympus, great big huge party. No one invited Eris. Discord, right? Who's inviting discord? Well, she got a little pissed off. She took one of the golden apples of immortality and hucked it into the bridal party, into the wedding, with a little note written on it saying, "To the most beautiful goddess." 3 goddesses jumped for it. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Wasn't good. None of the gods were going to award that apple to only one of them, and there was no way they were going to make juice and share it. So they said, bring us the fairest man on earth. Now, he was really good looking, Paris, but they meant fair in that sense of just, right? Loyal, a good judge. Well, each goddess came to him separately, offered him something different. Hera offered him power, and I mean political power. She's the queen of the gods, right? So that sort of political rulership over men kind of power. Athena offered him wisdom. She's like, what do you need all that for? When you know everything, you'll be able to open every door, literal and metaphysical, around the world, right? The world is your oyster with that kind of wisdom I can give you. Aphrodite offered him his true love as the most beautiful woman on planet Earth. He gave the apple to Aphrodite. The woman was Helen of Troy, hence initiating the Trojan War. One decision that changed everything, not to mention for poor Odysseus on his way home after cleaning up that shit, right? So we're looking at maybe a simple thing, but one that this judge had to judge and had to make a decision. Now, maybe has not made the decision. We'll see what's coming in the timeline, but when the lover shows up, particularly in the past, it's on the table. Where is he now in the contract? Fuck. The Justice card literally scales, again, Athena. Feels like he gave the apple to Athena in this one. And really, this is the second visual reference of scales, of the scales of justice, the scales of balance. But also the second appearance of Athena, which doesn't surprise me all that much in the Mythic Tarot. She shows up in the Ace of Swords as well. But certainly, here we're looking not just at human justice, we're looking at divine justice, karmic justice. We are looking at the balancing of the scales through the lens of the divine plan and the gods. Careful. I'm just going to say, not that we should always fear the gods, but if we're being honorable, right? If we're balancing justice and compassion, doing our best, trying to balance all of that with the heart and managing the fair distribution of power, that's kind of what we're here to do. That's the high road. Where is he headed? 8 of Cups, into the underworld. Now in this deck it's into the underworld. The 8 of Cups is traditionally walking away. The way I see it though is more walking toward. Like, this is Psyche, as in Eros and Psyche, descending into the underworld to retrieve a pot of Persephone's Rapid Wrinkle Repair Immortal Edition, right? I love me some rapid wrinkle repair. Thank you, Andy McDowell. It's my secret, along with lots of witchcraft and prayer. 52, no crow's feet, literal or otherwise. So she's literally descending into the underworld on a mission. So 8 of Cups is not always about walking away from something unfinished. Yes, absolutely can be. But it's more walking towards something, going into. Even in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the 8 of Cups is called withdrawal, but it's going into almost like an emotional hermitage, internal healing time, perhaps even time to embrace shadow, doing shadow work, which certainly would be indicative, being that it's her descent into the underworld. So the Lovers, Justice, and the 8 of Cups, 3 major arcana cards out of 6. That's half, right? I did math. We've got the Empress, the Lovers, and Justice. So the gods are certainly involved here in this twin flame contract. But we're not done. we've got two other cards here to look at. One from the higher selves of all involved. We'll do that next. With the Whispers of Love Oracle. Now, the thing is, it's only one card, so the higher selves of the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine are going to pick one that they both agree on as a message to, well, both of them, essentially, that this is what the higher self says about it, right? A declarative, here, look at this, and what I adore about this deck. I use this one a lot personally, too. Whispers of Love. Is sometimes it just says, do this. Demonstrate love, right? Be honest, right? Sometimes it just calls you on the carpet. So nice deep breath. Because keep in mind here, I keep my eye, I know it's at the top of the spread, keeps going to that card of disillusionment. I mean, it's not necessarily that anyone's lying. It's just that you believed something that wasn't there, and maybe because of that naughty fun energy, you want it to continue that way. I can feel that. Still, nothing here overtly romantic sexual, but don't worry. Could be in this deck. Let's have a look-see-dooksy. Nice deep breath, please. Still point. The higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity. For this, Leo Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin Flame Contract, January, February 2020. Though timeless. Please, a whisper of love, a piece of clarity. How can they help themselves heal? What is the whisper of love for this Leo Collective Twin Flame Contract? Like attracts like. Oh my God, the exact same card. There are so many similarities going on here for some of the readings, but I also know that this was the same card that just happened in Cancer. Pretty damn sure, right? So there's a Cancer Leo coincidenza going on here. Something interesting. Definitely interesting going on here between those two. Like attracts like. If you are longing for more love in your life, you need to be more loving. So yes, that like attracts like, and I did say that there was some karmic justice going on here, but remember, if there is kindness going on here, it doesn't mean that the relationship isn't turbulent and transformative and all of that twin flame stuff. But if there is kindness in here, right, like attracts like, it doesn't mean that you can't love each other. It just means you can't give each other the kind of love you want, hence the disillusionment, right? But there is a way to be kind about this. In a way, if the Divine Masculine as the judge really chooses, let's do this wisely. But wisdom without love and power is not great either. It's a little dry. It's a lot of dry. So to kind of balance that out, understanding that he's going to take his own journey most likely into the underworld and walk away from this, then like attracts like, it's all about the balancing of this for the Divine Masculine. And, you know, now I'm even holding the card, that this card of the Empress for the Divine Feminine, it's like she may very well be giving birth to her new self here, right? That's the fertility, that's the fecundity. Hopefully having given to herself, found her own means of physical survival here, maintaining her spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem, or at least developing it. So like attracts like. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be kind, be compassionate. Careful, kind, compassionate. There you go. Not all letters C, but well, like is that a homonym? No, homonym is two words. That's homonym. Two words that sound alike. They just have the same sounding first letter. Our last card down. Healing Mantra deck. Thank the gods and masters. From Matt KAHN. This deck is so cool. One side of the card is the name of the mantra, the other the mantra itself. Once the card is chosen, I will look up the card in the booklet as well as read you the mantra, because what's written in there is very, very helpful. So this is for whether you are the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine. This mantra will help heal you in the relationship. What's a twin flame contract for? To teach you how to heal yourself. This is going to help, right? So nice deep breath. still point. My masters, there you are. Please, one card, the perfect healing mantra for this divine feminine beggar and this divine masculine judge in this Leo collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for January, February 2020 are timeless. Please, what is the perfect healing mantra for this contract that they can teach themselves how to heal, that they can heal themselves as a result of the repetition of this mantra, awakening its truth, the truth in the soul, to their personality through its repetition, through its use. You ready? Greeting wellness. Greeting wellness. Now, I think that's not a bad card to get in this situation. Well, not that any of them suck. Some of the mantra cards are a little intense about, pain and stuff like that. But this is interesting because one of the words of the mantra is on the table already. Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. Balance, like if you're holding scales, right? So very, very, very interesting that word is literally written on a card on the table with the healing of the angels oracle, and something here about this beggar archetype needing a life of infinite miracles, if that is indeed the case, where she needs to beg for something physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. So balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. I'm going to read you what's written in the book, and then I will give you your overview and the blessing at the end. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, I always do a blessing at the end. Greeting wellness. Balance is the key to a life of miracles. When wellness is welcomed, you are taking responsibility for the upkeep and preservation of your body as your sacred vessel of spiritual growth. Now, both sides that applies to, but feeling that a little for the divine feminine, considering she's got that goddess Empress card there where she is right now. Really turn to the divine within you, the divine feminine, to help you with that. Because if you don't know how to do that, you ask, you pray, you learn how. That's gotta be part of this contract, right? Learning how to care for yourself. Lost my place. Spiritual growth. In balance, you may come to see how endless wanting only creates more things to want. Kind of feels like speaking towards the divine feminine here. When operating from patterns of instant gratification, you are likely chasing after happiness that is out of reach as your body remains out of balance. Ready? Here's the part you need to hear, that you'll want to hear. This is resolved by learning to care for the body physically, emotionally, energetically, and nutritionally. As your life comes into greater balance, you will likely sense true happiness, not as the end result of specific outcomes, like whatever's going on with the divine masculine, but as the energy created by taking the time to truly care for yourself. This mantra is ideal for cultivating self-love, improving self-worth, and letting go of compulsive tendencies. Greeting wellness. Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. And I can feel that. And I mean, really, both of them are indicated, right? Balance, infinite miracles. This is what twin flame contracts are for. It is alchemical. The relationship is the crucible in the center of the furnace that holds both of these people in the contract so that the fires of the kiln of the furnace burn away that which no longer serves. Lead has 3 more elements than gold, so 3 have to be burned off, right? Per atom. So, it's just a fascinating reading in that sense, because if the judge can be really fair and just, which doesn't mean give nothing, but doesn't mean give everything either. Like, how do I do this in a way that I can be just and balanced in my own giving so he's not selling the farm, right? giving everything away, nor does the beggar then become too overly dependent. If she can come and say, look, at my humility, I just need help. I need this kind of help. Or maybe it is affection, but with like attracts like, you both will nail this contract by being kind to each other, even if then he goes his own way, right? Walks away or toward a deeper experience, and she really brings her mind into balance and harmony. This could be a true blessing of compassion on all of them concerned. And I just got this, I don't know if it's a download or not, but this could easily be parent-child too, right? Can you see that? It's like the child, and the parent like, well, I'm going to give you, but so many ways this can play itself out. So actually, let's do our overview real quickly, right? Magic clap. To refresh, we've got the divine feminine with the beggar archetype in the shadow, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort, and that's again where that parent-child thing feels a little strong. Moving towards the light attribute, confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem, obviously within themselves. And seeing that she's coming from this Aquarian place, right? That Aquarian energy of friendliness, egalitarian, 11th house, right? You know, into how you interact with the world, definitely a more friendly vibe there, leading into, here we go, the Empress, the Divine Mother energy, the Earth Mother, could very well be dealing with a mother energy within themselves, or perhaps this Divine Masculine Judge is the mother figure. Very, very possible. Or could be, this could all be a replay of the relationship of the beggar and their mother, right? This is kind of how the divine plan plays itself out. You know, everybody's going to learn what they got to learn sooner or later. The free will part that we have is, do we want to learn it now or later? Not the easiest thing in the world. But then moving the divine feminine into the Six of Blades manipulation, which for me just definitely has this feeling of mental balance. So not saying that they're imbalanced, but saying that when we are in a place of begging, we feel at such lack and in such pain that to bring ourselves into balance of the mind, that right, this was just part of the journey. This is part of my life. This is something that I had to grow through. This is something that is scripted. I'm not being punished. I'm being disillusioned, which means I had an illusion in place that perhaps was a little naughty at the time, but now I get. I need to bring this all into clearer focus. And I could see where a judge would be helpful in this. Like, these two could very easily continue being friends, if not in each other's lives all the time. The judge, divine masculine with the shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, judgy, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Hope he stays away with that with the amount of Athena energy going on here. Because the light attribute, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. That word balance, being, of course, the angel card of balance. Now, keep in mind, the divine feminine has the card of serenity, so that feels directly connected to that Six of Blades, saying that there's stuff that she can't change, stuff that she can, and she's getting the wisdom to know the difference. He's using that angel of balance to make a clear, just, but compassionate decision, having the lovers in the recent past, or where he's been in this contract, really having to make a life-changing decision. Maybe it was to get involved in the first place, but being now in that place of justice, right? Athena, revisiting Athena, to really look at this wisely, to see it perhaps more from the intellectual point of view, but something fair, right? With the owl there, that an owl can't turn its head around 360 degrees. It only looks like it can, but it does have that swivel view to see the entire landscape, right? So there's perhaps this place of reflection, of pulling back, of weighing the scales, but more about mercy and severity, compassion and justice, which eventually leads him to the Eight of Cups. Really, I can't feel if it's walking away or walking toward. Can be both. But definitely the sense of walking deeper into the self, into their own issues, into their own stuff, that this situation, perhaps after justice is done in the more immediate sense, that there is a withdrawal going into the self to replenish or to address hidden stuff within the sub and unconscious mind. Looking at the whisper of love from the higher selves of all involved. Like attracts like. If you're longing for more love in your life, you need to be more loving. Sweethearts, this is your opportunity to be loving and kind to each other, to be generous and compassionate. But in terms of the physical money of it all, that needs to be negotiated, and that needs to be done fairly, that no one walks away burnt on this one. But what is the big one here? This healing mantra, greeting wellness. Balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. So as both of them focus on balance, and obviously we've got a judge archetype with balance practically in every card in the spread except for that Eight of Cups, then we're going to say that that's what this beggar is learning. Certainly that balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles, but learning how to balance taking care of her physical and her emotional and her mental and her spiritual, along with whatever responsibilities that she has in her life, and with that card of serenity to really say, sweetheart, you are not being punished, but you need to kind of look at how you can awaken your own spiritual authority, humility, compassion, and self-esteem, which will be a blessing upon not just her, not just this contract, but to all of life itself. So there you have it, my Leos. Pride, I just heard. Whoa, Leo's pride. So this is going to be a challenge for the divine feminine if she's the Leo, right? Is your pride going to allow you to actually ask for the help that you need, or to wake up out of it and say, I don't know how to do this for myself. I have to learn how to do this now. That's a fucking rough road. But we all have to do it eventually, right? And then it's all a highly individualized curriculum. I really want to make so crystal clear. Divine feminine, you are not being punished. Divine masculine, you are not ultimately in charge of what happens to the divine feminine here. But the kinder, if that's the word, kindness, compassion, be fair, be kind to each other. That is your way through this contract. Cool. Well, here's the blessing. May the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their twin flame contracts January, February 2020 and beyond, anytime that they need it, that they may learn, that they may heal what they need to heal, that they may give themselves the love that only they can give for them, and give themselves the care that only they can give themselves for the well-being of all and the fulfillment of the divine plan. And so it is. May you be blessed, my Leos, my feline brothers and sisters. Like I said, the best thing about being single for me right now is I'm not in any twin flame contracts that I'm aware of. Just started dating someone, but he's an Aries. We're still just dating. Yeah, so I don't think I'm in this one, but you never know. That's why I do watch these a couple of weeks after I do them, just to check. Cool. Anyway, my Leonine brothers and sisters, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of February 2020, etc. And as ever, as I always do, sign off for you all. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.